Hello, and welcome to today's show, Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count. I'm your host, Dr. Gloria Burgess, international leadership expert and trusted advisor. Welcome to Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count. I'm so delighted that you joined me today. I have a very special guest on our show today. Her name is Betty Ogiel. She lives in her home country of Uganda. Betty is an author, an inspiring speaker, and, most importantly, she is an advocate for hope and resilience. I can't wait for Betty to share her remarkable journey and story with you. Let me just give you a small glimpse for now. A number of years ago, Betty was in a horrible car accident, which resulted in paralysis and speech loss. By God's mercy and grace, she overcame her paralysis, speech loss, and speech impairment. Betty will share more about her story in today's conversation. She also shares much more in her book, Against All Odds. I'll tell you how to get a copy of her book later on in this episode. In addition to writing the book, Betty hosts a series of monthly forums, which she calls Against All Odds Talks. These talks are absolutely and positively purpose-driven, and Betty's purpose is to inspire hope and resilience and to transform lives. Betty is also the founder of the Betty Ogiel Foundation in Uganda. Her foundation is a charity organization that educates destitute orphaned girls, especially from Karamoja, an impoverished region in Uganda. She's also a multiple award-winning human resources professional, and she is a John Maxwell Team certified coach. Today's topic is all about resilience and leadership, two topics that are near and dear to my heart. And I can't think of a better person, a better leader, a better human being to address this topic than Betty. I met Betty several years ago when I was attending an International Maxwell Certification Conference in Orlando, Florida. When I met Betty, we just had this resonance. We just clicked. And when I had an opportunity to hear her speak, she spoke so passionately about her life and her purpose. I mean, she was on fire. So I can't wait to host this incredible, amazing, and lovely human being, my friend, my colleague, and mentor, Betty Ogiel. Now, before I bring Betty on, I just want to take a moment to connect the dots between today's topic on resilience and leadership and legacy living. And there are many ways that resilience and leadership connect to legacy living, which you'll hear more about later. For now, let me just say that legacy living is a way of being and a way of living and moving through the world so that we make the conscious choice to be the difference we want to see in the world. We make the conscious choice right here, right now, not in some distant future. We make that conscious choice day in and day out, 365, 24/7. Now, more about that a little bit later. One more thing before I bring Betty on. Today's conversation will be aired in 2 parts. That's right. Betty was so inspiring and shared so much great stuff. We're running our conversation in 2 parts. So, now let me introduce you to my friend, my mentor, and my colleague, Betty. Thank you for joining me today, Betty. I can't wait to have this conversation with you. As you know, you're one of my favorite people on the planet and just love the work that you're doing. So I want my listeners to hear from you and to hear your story. And I'm going to begin by asking you just to say a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and this question, and that is about resilience. Okay, so your name, where you're from, and if you could answer this question about who is a resilient person.
Okay, thank you, Gloria. It is always an honor to speak with you and to just pick from your wise mind. My name is Betty Ogiel Rubanga. Rubanga is my husband's name, and I am a Ugandan living in Uganda, born and bred in Uganda, and I am also a mother of 3 handsome boys. Of course, I am married to a man, one man, and in the marketplace, I am a human resource professional and also a coach with the John Maxwell team. So I wear many hats. I am an author of the book Against All Odds, and I founded a foundation which helps the education of orphan girls from the impoverished regions in Uganda. And to do that, I also established and started Against All Odds talks, which aimed to inspire hope and transform lives. So I am very happy to be here. And just for my listeners who are hearing me for the first time, I normally like putting the questions, they wonder to rest. Yes, I am an inspirational speaker who speaks majestically, not by choice, but by its circumstances beyond my control, which is why I'm more passionate about resilience. So a resilient person is the one, to me, who is able to rise against above their circumstances, to wear a smile on their face, despite the fact that they are still in the tunnel, in the process, in the purification line, you know. So resilience, a resilient person is one who is able to achieve their dreams despite the circumstances life will throw at them.
Yes. Thank you, Betty. So I love how you talk about being able to overcome and triumph over your circumstances. And could you just tell us a little bit about, you have gone through so many changes in your life, Betty. And we all have, but your changes have been brought about through external circumstances. And I wonder if you can tell our listeners about, how the accident that affects your speech affected your resilience.
Thank you, Gloria. That is a very good question. Now, James Allen said that adversity introduces a man to himself. But for me, adversity of the accident reintroduced me to myself, because it was not the first adversity I went through. And it was among, and it is still among the adversities I went through. So maybe to give a little background to it, 14 years ago, I got a motor car accident, which left me with a brain injury, a broken neck. I was paralyzed from head to toe, and I lost my ability to speak because the side, my speech center was bruised in the brain. So I became a vegetable. I was wheelchair bound. I could not say a thing or even make a sound. It was a prayer request for me to just make a sound, things that we take for granted every day. So how the accident affected my resilience. In fact, that the accident almost made me to give up. But I remembered what I had already gone through in life.
Yes.
I remembered how I lost my father at the age of 3. I remembered how I was abandoned at the age of 14. I remembered how I was poisoned by a neighbor who got tired of looking after an abandoned orphan girl. I remembered how I walked 120 kilometers with a 20-liter jerrycan of local potent gin on my head, walking on bare feet, smuggling local potent gin across the border to Kenya, the neighboring country, to Uganda, to look for school fees and to look for survival. Then I remembered how shortly after going back to school, I was bitten by a poisonous snake. I remembered how several times, many times, I almost became a school dropout. I remembered how I slept on the benches of the sports ground changing room for 3 years while pursuing my degree course. Then I remembered all that. Then I looked at my medals, athletics medals. Then I looked at the chair, with the wheelchair I was on. Then that gave me back the resilience to fight on.
Yes.
For my life.
Yes.
For my dreams, for my future. So the accident rejuvenated my resolve to achieve my dreams yet again. It reminded me that I had to take charge of my life again.
Thank you, Betty. You know, you have been through so many valleys and peaks, you know, and they go together, right? And God puts them together in our life.
Yes.
And, you know, praise the Lord that he was able to send you into this place of remembrance of all of the places that you know, have triumphed, you know, the valleys that you were in, as well as climbing back up into the mountaintop, right? And so when I think about resilience, you know, I think about many different qualities, and we'll get to that a little bit later. But, you know, I wonder if you might share a little bit with our listeners about your COVID-19 journey. You know, just recently went through that with your husband. And could you tell us a little bit about that? Because that seemed like another, you know, valley, right? That God put you in.
Yes, actually, God works in mysterious ways.
Yes.
And through our pain, it makes us realize our purpose. So the COVID-19 was a recent, yet another challenging obstacle that I had to go through. And it was, I could say, one of the worst moments. It reminded me of the accident where your life just changes in a blink of an eye.
Yes.
So the status quo changed for us. My husband and I were all diagnosed with the COVID, and my husband was a more serious stage, and we had to be picked by an ambulance from home. So you can imagine we were bounced from hospitals because hospitals were full of COVID patients. The first hospital bounced us, and we had to go to the next. Thank God, my employer was footing the bills, but the bills were quite huge.
Yes.
So
but you're being transported by ambulance, which is very expensive.
Yes.
And from one hospital to another.
Yes. And all this time, my husband is, I could say, getting seizures,
Yes.
convulsing every 2 minutes.
Mm.
I was like a crazy mad woman
Yes.
in the hospital, in the ambulance, and
Mm.
not knowing what to do.
Yes.
So the status quo had changed in a matter of seconds. From the time my husband started convulsing, from a comfortable home to a hospital bed, and being taken care of people who were dressed like they are going to the moon, like all covered up.
Oh my. Yes.
Yes. So and not knowing what could happen, and in the same period, I lost many close people, including my former boss in my former workplace. He passed away when I was on the day I was declared COVID positive. Then while in the hospital, many other close friends, including members of parliament and ministers, dying of something that is in your body that you are in the hospital with. So the level of uncertainty required resilience.
Yes, absolutely.
And hope.
And hope. And hope, yes. And so, Betty, my just my deep condolences. I know that you're now through that episode where you had to be hospitalized with your husband. My condolences for your losses of your friends and people that you knew and very close to. And you talk about not only resilience, but hope, Betty. And so I'm wondering if you can share with our listeners, what the power of hope is for you and for them.
Hope is a very crucial thing in our life, because if you lose it, you have lost the will to live. You have lost all hope, and that is why you see people committing suicide. A person who commits suicide has lost hope.
Yes.
So what is hope? Hope is finding a reason to living. Hope is hoping for something. Hope is maintaining a positive mindset, even amidst challenges. Hope is acknowledging that there is this situation, which is huge, and it is not under my control. But I hope some way that there is a power which is greater than I can perceive. There is a God somewhere. There is that power which caused me to come to existence, and that power
Yes.
is there.
Yes.
And yes, just knowing that yes, there's a power greater than you,
Yes.
yourself.
Yes.
And
Yes.
hanging on that
Yes.
power, I'm talking about God, the Almighty God.
You know, I couldn't agree with you more, Betty. You know, we often hear about hope in the popular media, and for people who believe in God, we know that the ultimate hope is believing in God's strength, right, and His faithfulness. And so that's how I hear you talking about it as well. Betty, what would you say to our listeners who maybe they don't believe in God? I don't know. But what might you say to them about the power of hope connected with, you know, shattered dreams? Some people's dreams are shattered by COVID, others, you know, circumstances in their life. But what would you say to them about the power of hope and resilience?
Scripture says that even when you face a fire, we should be glad because there is joy ahead of the fire.
Yes.
And I guess everybody has heard of the saying, the common saying that there is light at the end of the tunnel. Yes. Who brings that light? It is God. It is God. Who walks you through the tunnel? It is God.
Yes.
Imagine what power do you have to get yourself out of that tunnel? It is a power beyond us. Yes. Even in the fire, you can flourish. Yes. Even in opposition, this COVID has opposed many of our dreams and it's shattered many of our dreams. But I can tell you that there are people and companies who have made a lot of money and success in COVID. Why? Because they focused on hope. They had hope for better tomorrow, but they found something that they could do in that situation they are in. They maneuvered around COVID, and they did not let COVID define them.
Yes.
They defined what COVID could do to them.
Yes.
They took charge of what they can do. They focused on what is working. If you look around you, at least something is working.
Yes.
In your life.
Yeah.
And if you don't, if you are listening to my voice and you think that all is shattered, all is gone, I am here to encourage you that because you are alive, there is something working around. At least you are able to breathe without oxygen support. Hang on that thread.
Yes.
I saw people in hospital, COVID, isolation, struggling to breathe. They could not breathe without a help of oxygen.
Yes.
Now, you and me, who are able to breathe by ourselves, busy complaining about what is not working.
Yes.
Okay. So hope is acknowledging that even if this sickness is there, but it can't stop you.
Yes.
Sickness, as long as you are alive, cannot stop you. People not liking you is something you can do with, handle. As long as you are alive, not everybody will like you. People not believing in you is none of your business. I like my other mentor is Les Brown. I have never met him physically, but he says other people's
opinion.
What other people's opinion about you is none of your business.
That's right.
And he also goes ahead to say that it is a full-time job to change yourself.
Yes.
So you can't change people from having opinion about you, either negative or positive. They are entitled to their opinion.
Yes.
So it is for us to realize that we have a life to live as long as we are still alive. That is hope. We have a purpose to fulfill. As long as we are alive, we have a destiny to look forward to. So there's always something working around us.
Yes.
So never lose hope.
Yes, never.
You can achieve your dreams. The COVID might delay or might have delayed your dream, but it has not shattered your dream.
Yes.
Hang on to it, and as long as you never lose hope, you will achieve your dream.
Well, thank you, Betty. You know, you are a living testimony, and I truly believe that God puts us in these valley places, wilderness places to strengthen us and to equip us. And Les Brown is one of my mentors too. So, and I've had the pleasure of meeting him. So I love that he's one of your mentors as well. Betty, could you talk to us a little bit about, you mentioned earlier, Against All Odds, and what is that for you? I mean, I know you have a wonderful book called Against All Odds. I know that your life has been about against all odds, but can you say in your own words, what is that about for you?
Against All Odds is about for me, Against All Odds is like the highway to greatness. Like odds are the grounds upon which greatness is bred, whether we like it or not. Because without some life defining challenges, obstacles, problems, I don't think there would be greatness for anyone. Whether it is an individual or an organization, there would be no greatness without heartache, without confusion, without diversification. These are life tests that breed us and prepare us to greatness. So without my obstacles, without the things I went through, I don't think I would be able to encourage anyone to give hope to anyone, because I believe there's power in not telling people what you have not you have gone through.
Yes.
There's power in telling people what you have gone through, as opposed to what you have had. Actually, my friends tell me, and colleagues, that there's a colleague who told me that, Betty, the truth is that you are not only a resilience coach, you are resilience itself.
Yes.
You don't teach people, you don't tell people about resilience. You actually walk the resilience journey. So
exactly.
Yes,
Yeah.
the ability to come to crossroads in life, and yes, and choose not to throw in the towel. The ability to face and dare the devil.
So inspiring. Rock solid gold. Be sure to listen in for part 2 of my conversation with Betty. In that part of our conversation, she'll share more about resilience and about the charity organization she founded, the Betty Ogiel Foundation. Now, I just adore Betty. Clearly, she is a leader's leader. She makes a difference in her own life and in the lives of so many others in her own family, in Uganda, and throughout the world. In her work as an author and speaker and as a certified John Maxwell coach. And as the founder and leader of her very own foundation, the Betty Ogiel Foundation. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Betty's purpose is to inspire hope and transform lives. Now, you know why. To learn more about Betty's inspiring story and to buy her book, Against All Odds, be sure to go to this website. That's www.againstalodds.life. Again, www.againstalodds.life. To learn more about Betty's work, you can go to this site. That's the BettyOgiel.com site. That's www.Ogiel.com. I'm going to repeat that because I don't want you to miss Betty's work. www.BettyOgiel.com. Now, if you are just joining us, I'm Dr. Gloria, and this is Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count. We just heard from my very special guest, Betty Ogiel, author, inspiring speaker, and John Maxwell coach. Be sure to tune in for part 2 of my conversation with her. She will talk more about her charity organization, the Betty Ogiel Foundation. If you want to make your life count, if you want to be the change you seek, be sure to listen to this episode again and again. And hey, be sure to tell somebody. You can find me right here on iTunes, Audible, Alexa, SoundCloud, iHeart, TuneIn, Spreaker.com, Talk Network Radio, and so many other places. Be sure to tune in again next time. Before I close today's show, I just want to give a shout out to all the women, men, and our young people all around the world. Because you know what? We are the ones. That's right. We are the ones we have been waiting for. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, I mean, don't wait. Don't wait for somebody else to step up and make things happen. Because guess what? They might not step up. They might not do it. In fact, they might not even know that you're there waiting for them to do something for you. But you can be the one. In fact, can I just tell you something? You are the one. You are the one who can make a difference in your own life so that you make a difference in the lives of others. Now remember this, how you live, the choices you make, your actions, your behaviors, your thoughts, how you live is how you lead. It's how you do everything. Okay? Remember, how you live is how you lead. Now, if you happen to miss any part of this week's show or last week's, you can simply download the recording and listen at your convenience. You can even listen on the go. Check us out at www.talknetworkradio.com/hosts/legacy living. That's talknetworkradio.com/hosts/legacy living. You can also learn more about my work and Legacy Living Make Your Life Count by visiting the Gloria Burgess website, or by visiting me on LinkedIn or on Facebook. Facebook is a little tricky to find me, so here we go. Facebook.com/Dr. Gloria Burgess, PhD. And that's doctor with a DR. So that's Facebook.com/Dr. Gloria Burgess, PhD. Before I close today, I want to thank each of you for tuning in to today's episode, for allowing me to share a bit about my journey with what legacy living is all about. Not just living and learning, but living and learning and serving so that you make a difference in your own life and in the lives of others. It's about being on purpose every single day, 365, 24/7. Legacy living is a powerful way to make your life count. Thank you again for joining me for today's episode. I'm your host, Dr. Gloria Burgess, and this is Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count. Please join me again next time for another episode of Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count. Remember, don't just count the days in your life. Make the days in your life count. That's what legacy living is all about. Have a fantastic day, and remember, make the days in your life count. God bless you. That's our show today. I'm your host, Dr. Gloria Burgess. I hope you'll join me again next time. Until then, don't just count the days in your life. Make the days in your life count. That's what legacy living is all about. Here's to you. Have a fantastic day, and be sure to make it a yes kind of day. remember to celebrate the music of your life. Make the days in your life